Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another very easy keto breakfast/snack recipe. It can be either breakfast or a snack. Today I'm going to show you how to make super easy keto honey bun substitutes. These are great because not only are they easy, but you can add protein powder to them. So they make a great breakfast to give you that protein boost in the morning, and they make a great snack to give you that protein boost in the afternoon. So if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos, at least every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So while we do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line a large baking sheet with parchment paper or a silicone baking mat and set it aside for a minute. In a large mixing bowl, combine 98 grams or around 14 tablespoons of coconut flour, 10 grams or around 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 44 grams or around a half cup of whey protein powder. If you don't want to use whey protein powder, you can use almond flour or pretty much any other kind of protein powder will work. You can also substitute out the half cup of protein powder for a 1/4 cup of coconut flour. Your texture will change a little bit if you do that, and you will possibly need to adjust the liquid just a little bit more or less. Add 3 grams or around 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum. If you don't have xanthan gum or don't want to use xanthan gum, you can use psyllium husk powder or gelatin powder, or if you can find cognac powder anywhere, that works too. But you do need the xanthan gum or some type of xanthan gum substitute. You cannot leave this out. This is what is going to help keep your dough flexible. If you don't have the xanthan gum or a xanthan gum substitute, then your dough is going to be stiff and you're not going to be able to shape the dough into the honey bun shape without your dough cracking on you. So do not leave the xanthan gum or xanthan gum substitute out. You have to have this. Add 97 grams or around a half cup of the granulated sweetener of choice. I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. You can use whatever granulated sweetener you want. You can also adjust this a little bit more or a little bit less depending on how sweet you want your honey bun substitute. Also, if you want to, you can add some dry spices or dry seasonings to give your dough a little bit of a different flavor, like maybe some dried cinnamon or some dried nutmeg. It's up to you if you want to add any different flavoring to it. I'm leaving mine just as it is. Sift everything together until everything is fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 2 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they stir in more smooth. Stir the eggs into the dry ingredients until all the dry ingredients are moist and crumbly. Add a half cup of very soft room temperature butter. You don't want this melted, but you do want it very soft so you can mix it in easily. Stir the butter in until everything is fully combined. Once the butter is combined, then use your fingers and massage the ingredients all together until they start binding together and start forming a dough. Add 80 grams or around a 1/4 cup of the keto maple syrup or keto honey substitute of choice. I'm using Chalk Zero's keto maple syrup. You can use whatever maple syrup you want, or you can use a ready-made keto honey substitute. They have them on Amazon, and I also have a recipe to a honey substitute that would, I'm sure, work in this. Haven't tried it in this, but I'm sure it would work. Also, if you want to, you can add some optional extract flavoring of your choice, such as vanilla or maple or honey flavoring. It's up to you if you want to add any extra flavor there. I'm leaving mine just as is. Stir everything together until everything is fully combined. Once everything is combined, again, use your fingers and massage the dough all together until the dough is smooth. Scrape down the sides of the bowl if needed, and push your dough all together to the center of the bowl and form it into a ball. Then massage the ball of dough in your hands for about 1 minute. This is going to help make your dough a little bit more flexible, and it's also going to help you to be able to test the texture of your dough. Your dough should be just lightly sticky, but it should not be sticking to your fingers. If it's sticking to your fingers, then add a very, very, very tiny bit of coconut flour until it's not sticking to your finger. You do not want to add too much coconut flour because it will dry your honey buns out. After you've massaged the dough in your hands for about 1 minute and you've got the feel of the lightly sticky texture, then we're going to test the dough and make sure that the texture is completely right. And the way we test it is you take a good sized chunk of the dough in your hands, roll it between your hands into a log type shape. As you're rolling the dough should stretch easily and it should be holding its shape. When you hold it up in that log shape, it should stay together. It shouldn't break apart. And it shouldn't be feeling dry. It should have a very light, moist, like I said, slightly sticky feel to the dough. Once you have the right texture of dough, then divide the dough into 5 equal portions. Line a work surface with parchment paper or a silicone baking mat. Place 1 portion of dough onto the work surface. Roll the dough out to a skinny log that's about 17 to 18 inches long or whatever length you want. You're basically just wanting this long enough so you can roll it into a spiral shape. So however long you decide to roll the dough out to depends on how many layers you want in your spiral and how thick of the layers you want in your spirals. I want a few spirals and I don't want them to be super thick, so I'm rolling my log out to about a little over 17 inches. I wouldn't roll it out any shorter than 12 inches because you want to be able to have at least 2 or 3 layers of spiral when you finish shaping your honey bun. Once the dough portion is rolled out to a log, make sure as you're rolling you keep the dough smooth at all times and that your log is the same thickness all the way down. You don't want one portion of your log to be fat and another portion to be skinny. Make sure it's the same thickness all the way down. Take one end of the log and carefully roll the log up into a spiral shape. Make sure again as you are rolling it into the spiral shape, make sure to keep your dough smooth at all times. And as you're rolling the dough into your spiral shape, lightly, very lightly press the dough together as you're rolling it. This will just keep your layers in place a little bit. Keep rolling until the dough is rolled into a complete spiral. Once the honey bun is shaped, then place it onto your prepared baking sheet. Then continue to repeat the rolling and shaping process until all the portions of your dough are shaped and on your prepared baking sheet. Make sure when you're putting them on your prepared baking sheet that you leave space in between each one of the honey buns. I always tell you guys coconut flour doesn't rise all that much, but these do puff up a little bit and they do expand just a little bit, so you want to make sure that you have space in between each one of the honey bun substitutes so they have room to expand and so they can get an even golden toast around all edges of the honey buns. Once your honey bun substitutes are all shaped and on your baking sheet, then use the palm of your hand and just very lightly flatten the top of each one of the honey buns. This is just going to help keep your layers from splitting. Don't press it too flat because you do want to be able to see that spiral. That's one of the signature look of honey buns. Once the honey buns are all shaped and flattened a little bit, place them into your preheated oven. Bake at 350 degrees for 16 to 18 minutes or until the honey bun substitutes are golden around the edges. Once the honey buns are done baking, remove them from the oven. Let them sit on the pan for about 3 to 5 minutes so that the ingredients can set in a little bit and you won't burn your fingers when you go to pick them up. While they're sitting on the pan, in a small bowl, combine 63 grams or around a half cup of the powdered sweetener of your choice. I'm using powdered monk fruit allulose blend that I make. You can use whatever powdered sweetener you want. Add 1 tablespoon of room temperature water and a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then use a fork and stir everything all together until you have a smooth glaze. Place a piece of parchment paper or a silicone baking mat underneath the cooling rack. Then transfer the warm honey buns to your cooling rack. Take a silicone brush or a small spoon and lightly brush the glaze over the tops and the sides of your honey bun substitute. Once the honey bun substitutes are all nice and glazed, then let them sit for just about 3 to 5 minutes just to let the glaze sit in just a little bit. All right, we are back. I've got my little pretty little honey bun substitute. Doesn't that look pretty? Doesn't it look yummy? Hopefully it tastes as good as it looks. Now I let mine cool to room temperature. You can eat this warm or at room temperature. It's up to you, however you want to do that. I just wanted to see what it tastes like at room temperature. So, let's see. I like that. Yeah. That's really good. Really good. It would taste really good with my coffee in the morning. I like that. And you can add whatever flavorings you want to the dough part. You can add some cinnamon or some maple or vanilla extract. It's all up to you how you want it to taste. I personally like it just like this. It's got a little hint of sweetness from the glaze, but not overpoweringly sweet. Tasty, thumbs up, yay for me. You can eat these immediately, warm or at room temperature. If you do have any leftovers, store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 3 days, or you can store these in the refrigerator for up to 5 days. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.